we start, I thought it'd be nice to just get the conversation starting before tea time comes out and starts the actual conversation. So what year is it on your coin?
2004. I don't know, I guess I was getting to know Jesus because I got baptized when I was 13.
So it's 2011. Family friend, Auntie Dayo, to cancer. Oh. And I lost one of my sons, and my daughter developed cancer. So it wasn't a very good year. But glory be to God, we're still here.
Amen. Can I give her a round of applause? Thank you so much for sharing. That was really beautiful. Wow. So there's a video that I would like to be played, and then we can just discuss it.
Like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it, and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
I don't want it, but it'd be nice to.
Don't ever think for 1 minute that it ain't some men out there looking at you like I wish.
Yeah, you want to be good for your husband, but sometimes he probably doesn't notice anything new about you, and you're just like, ugh.
But why should you be if your husband is not noticing something, in my opinion, you call your husband and you sit down with him and have a conversation about it.
I agree, but
I've been there. I'm not married, but I have been in that place where I want attention from guys. And I'm a Christian, and I think it's important that you seek validation from God himself. I strongly believe there's a soul issue.
Because I don't think it's an indication that she's insecure or like there's an issue in her marriage, but rather like you just want to feel affirmed. Like especially when you're married, like you're married with someone for so long, you have kids, right? You still want to know that when you walk down the street, people still think you got it.
Thank you guys for getting involved. Give her a round of applause. Scream, stand up if you like, as we introduce Titi.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, guys, I love your energy. This is amazing. So, I've been hearing what's going on backstage, and I'm loving the vocals. I can see that nobody left their voices at home. I hope I'm right. Right, so now I'm going to go on to introduce the panelists, my wonderful panelists. Can I please call Dr. Kanayo forward? Please give her a round of applause. Can I also have Mike Omonix please come forward? And then can I also have my lovely Busayo please come forward, please? Do you think the increasing influence of social media has more of a positive or negative effect on our mental health as a generation? Now, I'll give you examples. A positive example would be Kim K and her new career now as a lawyer. And being able to help that lady, I think her name is Alice Marie Johnson. She rescued her out of a life sentence, right? Now, we have the negative examples, like the body shamers. Saying all of this and just thinking about, what you guys have seen on social media. As a generation, would you say it has more of a positive or negative? I think both, it depends, but I want to throw the questions to you guys to see your perspective.
Some of the decisions that we make in our life are based on what we are exposed to.
Right.
So if you're constantly exposed to certain things via social media, you unknowingly are being primed to make certain decisions. And that's showing how it's actually impacting your mental health. And you kind of have to catch yourself like, okay, I'm feeling like this. Why am I feeling like this? Let me get to the root of it. And the root is always because of what you're exposed to.
Every hour of the day, we're hyper aware and exposed to different people's opinions all the time. And the issue is there's no quality control. So someone could tell you something or show you something, and you have no means of actually saying, is this correct? Is this accurate? So it's never really about social media in of itself, but it's how we use it. And how we use it, for me, means that social media has actually been more negative, because for every Kim K, she's got 100 millions of followers that can't do what she did. And you have to think about the prerequisite that got Kim K the clout in the first place.
And that really stood out to me, because when you go on a person's Instagrams, the first thing you're going to look at, their followers. That's how brands select who it is that they want to work with. They look at the numbers. They call it the influencer culture, I think, to see how many people you can influence. But how many people are we actually influencing with our posts?
I would love if, as a generation, we started to genuinely see social media as a tool and not a crutch. Here's the solutions. If you're a social media influencer, be a role model and not a role model. What does that mean? Well, show people the truth of your life. Show them the struggles, show them the successes, show them how difficult things are. Show them how, just be real. And also, whilst you should, enjoy kind of rampant consumption online, get offline and actually speak to folks and talk to people and connect. We could not do this online. It just wouldn't work. You're seeing me, I'm seeing you. Do that as well. And I think if you can do those 3 things, then you can maybe have a healthier relationships with social media.
I like that. Please give him a round of applause. It's so important, the last point you made about coming on social media. I have social media breaks. Hands up if any of you have also had those. When I spoke to you, you said you were actually. She's not. She's taking time off, and it's amazing how much things we miss because we spend times on machines that were created just to give us a quick fix.
What do you do that's going to occupy your time and you're going to enjoy as much as potentially being on social media?
I read, meet up with friends, just spend time, take time off staring at your phone and staring at a screen.
To be a different approach to social media. So social media, you should have social media because we're millennials, use it. It makes sense, right? But it's more about having the balance in your life. If you're of faith as well, what's your purpose, right? Because time is what we're exchanging for using social media. The thing is, you have to think about it as it's social media is an addiction. It's actually an illness that we all are low-key suffering from. So when you put it down, it's like if you were addicted to heroin, you're going to have urges to go back to it. Yeah. So it's for us to be like, actually, I've got a problem. The fact that I feel like life is boring outside of social media.
Here's the massive crisis I think we have in the world today. I know it sounds melodramatic as hell, but it's the truth. People don't know why they were created. Because it's when you have no clue what you were called here to do that you'd waste time. Rather than how do I just enjoy, what are you enjoying? What are you doing? What are you building? Doing? Where is it taking you? These things aren't just neutral platforms. They are genuinely designed to waste our time. So what you got to do as a young person, a millennial, what I'm trying to do is figure out why am I on here? And how can this platform help me achieve my goal? If it doesn't, then I can do without it.
Guys, please give a round of applause. My panelists are just the topic of escapism. Now, I'll read out the definition of escapism. According to our good old friend Google, escapism is defined as the tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant realities, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy. Now, when I read this, it made me check myself because I realized that maybe there are things that I am escaping from. Now, I looked up at different fantasies that people escape in. There's sex, entertainment, social media, drugs, call it anything, whatever people find. Some people it's the gym, some people it's church, right? Now, I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think, what are the different forms of escapism? And as a generation, what do you think our biggest form of escapism is?
It's definitely to do with undealt with traumas that they've experienced. It's either that or we spoke earlier about insecurities. And sometimes you try and mask our insecurities by living vicariously through another person.
Right.
So we do that a lot using social media. Right. We start to admire someone genuinely and then we start to obsess over their lives because we feel like there's a part of our life that isn't quite complete. And that completion only comes from one place. And I don't know whether everyone in the room is a Christian, but that one place is God.
Right. Can a relationship be a form of escapism? Well, I mean, does anybody want to answer that?
Yes. I think everyone say yes.
Yes.
I didn't design relationships, so it doesn't really matter what I think. What does matter is what God thinks, and that's all I can kind of say today. So the period where you're single is actually really important. Because it's the only period you get to be single. That single period is not a period for you to run and to try and essentially, this is what fornication is, by the way. It's kind of like seeing things before you're meant to have it, but grabbing it. Songs of Solomon 8:4 says something really, really important. It says, "Promise me, O Jerusalem, not to awaken love until it's time." And here's the freedom. Everything was perfect. Beautiful, kind, very thoughtful, I like outliers. She's really great. Wrong time. And that ruined everything. Didn't know who I was. Had no clue what I was called in this earth to do. Couldn't cultivate, which is something that God instructs men to do. That means to bring out the best in. But now that I'm growing up, I am realizing it's always got to be purpose before partner. You must come to terms.
Please, a round of applause. That was always going to be purpose before partner.
Because I don't really like the term like my wife. What I really love is like my purpose partner. Wish we could raise the level a bit when it comes to relationships and start considering what's our mutual goals. What are we trying to achieve? What do we want to? The Bible says we should subdue the earth, and so what are we going to do? What are we going to build? What are we going to create? If it's happy memories, that's great. But that's only gonna satisfy a certain part of me. There's another part of me which God has put in there, which is this massive gap in me that wants to build and fix things. And if you can't help me do that, there's no point.
Sorry, Mike, I have a question for you. As you're making your point, you seem so... There's this sense of like, I'm sure of myself. I know who I am. Until I find that person who is also sure of themselves, who knows who she is, then it's not gonna work till then. How did you get to this, Mike?
As it pertains to purpose, it's my job to go into that task season almost and figure it out. Figure out what makes my heart burn. Figure out what gets me angry. Like, that's stuff you have to figure out by yourself. And before you've done that, my point is, don't add someone else's weight or someone else's pressure. It's just not good for you. So that's how I became sure. It's time alone, time spent in prayer, quite frankly. Time spent, men do this, crying and asking God, what's the point? Because I'm very kind of like, why am I here kind of thing.
Wow. I'm just sitting here, just blowing.
In terms of like escaping, I think just linking to what you said as well, I think a big part of it is that we are scared to face who we are. And I feel like a lot of the time we've got low self-esteem, and no one wants to talk about it because you can just tweet one funny thing and get bare retweets, and it's a false measurement of who you think you are as a character. The value systems that we're playing to aren't real. And as you said earlier, in terms of like this sort of adrenaline, these like, sparks of happiness that we get, they're so short term, they can never fulfill you. So all you do is look for more anywhere. Your standards are so low that you're willing to do anything just to be seen by anyone. I know, like, when Mike's speaking and stuff, like, as a man, I feel, of course, you guys go through your own things, but I think society does also encourage you to be a bit more outspoken and to be bold. Right. And there's the idea that you're going to lead something, so you have more of an incentive to do these things. But as women, because we're told that we're going to be submissive and that we're the partner, we don't raise ourselves, our own spirit, and be like, let me be a leader too in my own right. So therefore, that's why when men do it, we're like, I love it. Look at my husband, he's sick. But you also want to be, my mum is sick, or my sister, or my wife is sick. Yes. So as young women, there's a big reason why for women, look, we're the only ones with influencers who are selling us lipstick and pants. So I remember as women as well, we need to find that within ourselves and be like, you know what, I know we're escaping things like our low self-esteem, sexism. Capitalism is a big reason why we're on here, because the day we don't get paid as much as we're supposed to get paid, and the days are getting longer. So I feel like there are real world issues, and I don't want to go off topic, but this is why I feel like the church, or if you're religious, we need to start talking about capitalism as society and say, actually, as people, the reason why I'm having conflict is because the moral compass of our system is drawing me away from God as well. Not just the fact that I am, but everything around me is telling me, actually, God is not the most important thing. It's my capital. It's my profit that I'm making. It's the amount of things on my CV. And it hurts because I want to go, you go to church on Sunday, but Monday to Saturday, the real world is telling you that, listen, unless you're doing X, Y, Z, you're not anybody. It's like, actually, the system that we're in isn't for human beings. Human beings shouldn't be by a screen or computer for 10 hours a day. We're not using our mind. We're not stimulating. And that's why a lot of us are frustrated with work, because it's not stimulating us. Right. We've got passions and dreams, but lack of resource sometimes to pursue it. So we're escaping the real world. And this is why I always just promise that church actually needs to be a social activist movement.
For example, we have conditioned tendencies, things that I've developed over the course of my life as a result of my environment or the people I'm with, that I am conditioned to enjoy or I'm conditioned to dislike, right? I can be aware of my purpose, encounter people in a way that Jesus would encounter them. That is my purpose. For me to enact and to live my purpose, I have to change certain things about me that I like. I have to drop some things that I'm pretty good at holding on to, And the moment that we can stop escaping and avoiding that reality of, fine, I have to stop what I'm doing currently to become the better version of me, that is when we become TT 2.0. Don't say I'm a social influencer. What are you influencing?
Right.
And I think that that's the biggest thing about our generation, is that we always aspire to be somewhere, but we haven't completely defined that, first of all. And then when we define it, we don't want to give up things that are stopping us from getting there. You know, and that's the biggest escapism ourselves.
Please give her a round of applause. We're talking about purpose, but sometimes, I can't lie, sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm here for. Sometimes I feel like I don't know how to practically walk out what I'm here for. So how did you guys do that in your own personal lives?
Find like a mentor, someone you trust, who you look up to, who you think has the ability to build and stuff like that, and spend some time in that place, because the biggest issue we have when it comes to deciphering purpose is that we haven't structured our influence. And what that means is we think everyone's opinion is worth the same. Not true. As such, I need to develop some sort of mechanism for structuring voices in my life that makes me able to take in what really matters and push away the junk. In your life that is chaotic, what you need is truth. You need people who aren't going to tell you, oh, you're good at it. They're going to tell you the truth. But if you can structure voices in your life, it will save you a lifetime of just worry and confusion, right? Where does God's voice fit in your life? Where does your mentor's voice fit? Where does your friend's voice fit?
Purpose could just be literally, I'm going to spread love and speak wisdom and evangelize in whatever way I can alongside the work I'm doing. That's all it could be. But we think purpose is something that's transformatory in the sense that, oh, I'm going to look different. Yeah, I'm going to get all these other things. It's not. First of all, move purposefully. Yeah? You don't have to know what your purpose is because they're too young, and I'm not going to come and do fake preaching and say you appeared in my dream and this is what you should do. What I'm going to tell them is that whatever you do, what's the intention? Move with intention. And by your character, I don't like tennis. So there's no way I'm going to end up in a tennis court doing some random stuff. You're wired differently. So you're not going to end up where you're not supposed to be really and truly if you're acting with intention. And even your own inner characteristics will not lead you anywhere. Just like any craze that happens, we all jump to it. And you know for a fact that you've got low self-esteem and you have no friends, but you want to come and collect followers. What's your business there?
What's your business there?
What's your business there? Right. You see what I'm saying? So right now, I think that's one of the big issues you have. It's not the purpose. Move with intention and you'll feel fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? So there's no point going in the dark going, like, what's my purpose? I'm going to go here. No. What do you feel like you want to do? What intention does it have? Does it align with God? And if it aligns with God, it's already got a purpose.
Especially in a world where everyone's got an opinion, everyone wants to be seen in a certain way, everyone wants to be a leader. Actually be humble enough to serve, and actually it's in your serving that you'll find out your purpose.
People really underrate character and you as a person. And I always say to people that ethics is really important to me. I would rather work in a job where ethically people are treated with respect, everyone is treated as an equal, everyone is building each other up and not get paid as much, than be in a job that gets loads of money but you're disregarded, you're just there as a means to end to make money for the bigger person. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that was what I would say.
That's brilliant.
A round of applause, please.
Just more capital than you. And what they do is they prepare you for a specific purpose. So what you got to do is you got to look at somebody who, yes, you admire, who has great character, right? But who has the ability to build. That's the real point of mentorship, is that they can build and they can speak the truth and love. And, we can speak more maybe privately about some checkpoints, if you like. But for the most part, it's about finding someone to take ownership and responsibility for you.
Please give my panelists a round of applause. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed the discussion. If you have any more questions, please save it. You can catch these guys around. We're going on a 15-minute interval. Are you guys enjoying so far? Are we connecting so far? Okay. Now, can I please have our only one amazing Day of Soul come forward, please? Please, guys, give her a round of applause.
Give me something I can handle, peeling away every part of me. I need to see the light, the light, the light. I need to see the light.
It's like one of my favorite songs, so yeah, I hope you guys resonate with it. I hope it does something for you.
Feel the touch as warm as the sun rays on my ebony skin. I am reminded that I'll never be alone. It will be alright. I see better days in the most brightest way. I see better days in my view. Oh, open your eyes and see that it will come, it will come. Oh, better days will come if you only open your eyes and see.
Thank you.
You're amazing. Please give her a round of applause again, guys. Thank you. Now it's time for us to just have a brief conversation on points you want to mention that you feel like resonated with you from the first discussion we had.
Most of these people that you're looking at on Instagram are not who they are. They're not living the life that they're saying they're living. So it's just like kind of reflecting on that.
Whatever we see online is only a snapshot of somebody else's life. And we shouldn't compare whatever our reality is with a snapshot of somebody else's life. Yes, they may be good at what they do, but then carefully judge. Just because they're showing you that at the moment, don't go off, that's just all the person is.
But how do you not compare yourself to other people who are younger than you and are doing what you want to do in the future? Because like yourself, like how old are you, T?
Oh. A woman never tells her age, okay? So what had happened was...
Yeah.
I'm turning 25 on Monday, actually.
You see? Woo! Do you see what I mean? So, like, it's great what you're doing. Me looking at you, I feel like you're a testament. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can do it, I can do it. For me, personally, it's all about growth, self-development. And I know which areas in my life I feel like I need to change, and I feel like I need to develop in before I even start my business or before I start impacting. I feel like I'm already anyways, being a Christian. But how do you stop comparing yourself because of age as well, especially? It's like the older you are, it's like the more time you're wasting if you're not following your purpose.
Great that you see me as a testament, but before I got here, there are things that I personally went through and had to deal with. And when you start from that point, you realize you can't compare yourself to somebody younger because you don't know what they've had to deal with to get to where they are. And it's hard. I compared myself. Back there, I was still thinking, oh, would I be able to do it? I don't think I've got the answers. I had so many, I don't think I'll be able to, so many voices in my head, but I'm glad you said something. When you know something about yourself, self-awareness is key. It's the start of everything. And once you start to walk on the journey, that's why we spoke so much about purpose, knowing your own identity, taking time offline, learning what your own voice sounds like, learning what makes you tick, learning what makes your heart bleed. Once you start knowing yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. So once you know your own magic, once you know what you have instilled in you, girl, nobody can tell you. You won't need to compare because what they do and how they walk, their walk is different from yours. And deal with things that you know that you still need to work on.
Yeah. So you've put together this amazing event today with the help of your team. What placed this upon your heart to make today happen?
Life can really go like this. Fair enough, there's parties, I can do a whole party, call everybody, but everyone's just going to come and eat rice, eat and my life is there, but they'll go home and forget, what's that? Like, there's more that I can bring to the table. And I thought, okay, for my 25th, I'm going to put together No Barriers, but I just don't want it to just be just an event. just an event with open conversation. I thought about how connected I am to cancer because my grandma died of it 2 years ago. I thought, listen, I have to do something back home. And so I went on the journey of looking for a cancer charity organization, found Sebekli with the help of my dad. And then thought about giving proceeds, a certain amount of proceeds towards that charity. So it's a combination of different things. My personal experiences, conversations I was having, what I was seeing, and a lot of self-reflection that I was doing as well.
I just wanted to say that when you think about comparing, when you're wanting someone else's life and you're saying, I want this, and you're consuming yourself, one, I would say two things. One, you have to go back and run your own race. And also, when you're wanting to go to somebody else's race and gain that, you yourself, you're taking other stuff. You're looking at the shiny things, but you have to take the downfall too. You know, if I said right now, okay, I want to have tea time thing, I want to do this, let me just copy and do this, what she's done, I'm going to have to take the good and the bad. There's plants that come out through stony ground. They can't compare to those flowers because they didn't get the same water that they did. Yet what happened? They still grew through the stone. When I see flowers that grow through stone, I think, wow, look at the hardship it's gone through and it's still come through. Just remember that your life is like that too, so don't compare. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And guys, so now we're going to play a video of thanks. I got Sebekli to record a video actually, saying thank you to everybody that donated today. So we're going to play that video and then I'm going to introduce my lovely sister Tendai forward.
With the aim of reducing the burden of breast and cervical cancer in Nigeria, we would like to say a big thank you to Ms. Titi Lokwe Elegbede for her humanitarian efforts in joining us against this fight.
So can I please have my lovely sister Tendai come forward, please? Everyone, please give her a round of applause. She's an amazing survivor and she's here to share her story. Take the stage, sis.
Deep into my love like the ocean. Lord, I've been lost without your love. I've been coasting. And whilst I'm much further than before, I'm so grateful. Because no matter whatever, however, whenever, you're the only living God who changed my life for the better. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tendai. Some people call me TD Moyo. I create theatre, I direct, I produce, I write. You know, I'm really honoured to be able to be here and to share part of my story because you are the people that I love and you are the people that I want to talk to and you're the people that I'm doing it with and for.
I love you forever, Lord.
I love you forever. I love you forever, Lord.
Forever.
If you know it is God and you love him, would you tell him that you love him?
I'll love you.
I love you forever, Lord.
Lord.
I may not get it right sometimes, but God, I love you
forever.
Yes, I need you, God.
I love you.
I'm in awe of you, God. Lord, until
there's only you. Let all the other names fade.
Looking at that, I'm thinking, trying to resonate, like, how could I be good? And the Lord said, I want to be a new creature, Lord. Make me a new creature, Lord. I want to be a new creature, Lord. So when I was 16, I would have rather God had taken me than had taken him. Because I couldn't imagine what my life would be like without my brother. So after that conference, I remember on the phone to a friend, I said, listen, I found a lump in my throat. I don't know why, but I went to the GP. It took them 6 months to diagnose me with follicular lymphoma, which is a Hodgkin's type of lymphoma, a very rare type of lymphoma, very rare type of cancer. And at this point in my life, I was thinking, God, is this happening on your watch? Bearing in mind, my brother just died less than a year ago. I haven't even figured that bit out, and now I'm sick like this. And now I came onto treatment, and I still don't know who I am and what I'm doing, and I miss my brother. So when the doctor said, we're going to give you chemotherapy, I refused. I don't know where I got the strength to refuse it, but something in my spirit said, that's not for me. I want something else. I went back into the hospital. They said, do you know what? We're going to try radio. And so to do the radio, I had to get into a machine every single day for quite a period of time, and I had to wear this mask. I went into the hospital with Dr. Taj, the woman I mentioned before. My mum looked at me and said, there's no lymphoma. The woman said, there's no cancer. And so now trying to come back into normality, normalhood, that was very difficult. And I can't explain to you how many times I nearly lost myself. I got so confused. I felt the trauma running back to me. Because like I said, the hardest part of beating cancer is surviving it. Surviving is finding peace. But the victory came when God taught me how to stand. And he didn't teach me how to stand through just cancer and healing and radiotherapy and tears. He taught me how to stand in the years that followed. God planted very particular seeds in my life so that when I could stand again, I'd have purpose. So now when I'm telling you I direct and I create theatre and I cast as a casting producer and I'm doing all these really cool things and I'm working with communities, I don't know if I could have done that had I not lost the way I had. Had I not mourned the way I mourned, had I not cried the tears I cried. We spoke earlier about T.D. Jakes saying, if you want anything I've got, you better take the bad way too. Now, a lot of us, I think, including myself, we've been out in the fields in our lives. And I felt neglected. I felt let down. I felt disappointed with God and my life. And I said, Lord, I'm so ill. Lord, I miss my brother so much. Lord, there is no hope. But the Lord was fathering me in the field. And these seeds, whilst it looked like the biggest trial you ever faced, that line was there to prepare you. The bear was there to prepare you. And God has always been intentional about fathering you. I'll say it again. God has always been intentional about fathering you. I thank God for perfect healing, but I thank God I thank God even more that I'm able to stand and share it. And yeah, that's me. God bless.
Please give her a round of applause. In fact, she deserves a standing ovation. Thank you, guys. Fair enough, we're talking about purpose, we're talking about this, we're trying to answer questions, but our sole purpose here is literally to shine the light that we were given. But once you find that, all this comparison, inadequacy, all this doubting our accomplishments, doubting who we are and the power we have within us, that's when it will stop. When we really know how to walk in our own lights. So guys, I urge you today, as you leave No Barriers, it's great you come and tell me this was a great event. Thank you. I couldn't have done it without my team. I couldn't have done it without God. Like, I stand here, but he's the one who's working right now, because anything that happened today, I didn't even know this was how it was going to go. But we each need to ask ourselves, what is the thing that I need to conquer? What is that thing within me? And what are the things I need to bring more to light? Thank you guys for coming to No Barriers. I appreciate every single one of you. Good night.
Hi, everyone. Vicky, she didn't want this, but we have to. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Titi. Wow. Happy birthday.
Yes, God, you know that one. Okay. Woo!